Our outdoor traditions in this country are deep and they're an important part of our heritage. And that's why 2 years ago, when I became chair of the Sportsmen's Caucus, I made it a goal to do something significant that will help this country's hunters and anglers. Mr. President, this week we have an opportunity. We've got an opportunity to play politics as usual, or we have an opportunity to get something done. This Sportsman Act is the biggest package of sportsman bills in a generation. It combines, as the Majority Leader said, nearly 20 different bills, all important to the sportsman's community. These bills increase access for recreational hunting and fishing. They support land and species conservation. They protect our hunting and fishing rights. And most importantly, they take ideas from both sides of the political aisle. It's not about Democrats. This bill isn't about Republicans or independents. This bill is about Americans and the great outdoors that we all share as a nation. This bipartisan bill is supported by 56 different conservation and wildlife groups, ranging from the Nature Conservancy and the National Wildlife Federation to the NRA. It earned their endorsements because it includes a wide range of responsible provisions that are important to the sportsmen and women across America. Mr. President, in my role as chairman of the Congressional Sportsmen's Caucus, sportsmen continually tell me about the importance of access to public lands. Right now, there are 35 million acres of public land that sportsmen cannot access. That's why this bill requires 1.5% of the annual funding of the Land and Water Conservation Fund set aside to increase public land access, ensuring sportsmen across the country to some of the best places to hunt and fish in this country. This bill also reauthorizes the North American Wetlands Conservation Act. This voluntary initiative provides matching grants to landowners who set aside critical habitat for migratory birds like ducks. Over the last 20 years, volunteers across America have completed more than 2,000 conservation projects and protected more than 26 million acres of habitat under this successful initiative. The North American Wetlands Conservation Act is a smart investment in both our lands and our wildlife, and it needs to be reauthorized. This bill doesn't. My widely supported bill also authorizes the Secretary of Interior to reevaluate the price of duck stamps to keep up with inflation. Revenue from these duck stamps has been used to purchase or lease more than 6 million acres of wetlands and preserve a viable waterfowl population. And this bill also funds new shooting ranges while encouraging federal land agencies to cooperate with state and local authorities to maintain existing ranges. This is a responsible bill that takes into account the needs of the entire sportsman community. Now, some folks around Washington are asking, well, why is this important? But hunting and fishing is a way of life in places like Montana. 1 in 3 Montanans hunt big game, and over 50% of Montanans fish. And outdoor recreation contributed $646 billion in direct spending to this economy in this country just last year. Hunting and fishing is not just recreation. It's a critical part of our economy. In Montana, hunting and fishing brings $1 billion a year to our economy, nearly as much as our state's cattle industry. It's big business. It drives and sustains jobs. And with bow hunting season open and rifle season opening just a few days, this bill is as timely as ever. Mr. President, the Sportsman's Act of 2012 is balanced, it's bipartisan, it is widely supported, it is fiscally responsible. The bill has no cost. I've been chairman of that Congressional Sportsmen's Caucus for 2 years. In that time, I've had folks from all across the country tell me why they love to hunt and fish. They've also told me how outdoor activity supports our economy and creates new jobs while sustaining old ones. They've told me about how much their outdoor heritage means to their families, about how concerned they are about losing those traditions. And frankly, they've told me how frustrated they are with Washington and how too many good ideas from both parties, get left behind because of political gridlock right here. Mr. President, by approving this sportsman's package, we will conserve some of our most productive habitat, pass on our hunting and fishing traditions to future generations, and entrust the land and water we share to them. Sportsmen from across the West have been waiting for a bill like this for a generation, a bill with widespread support that preserves our outdoor economy and secures our outdoor heritage for our children and grandchildren. I know it's getting close to election season, but we have time left. The time that we're working on the taxpayers' dime, and I think we ought to get something done. Let's take some good Democratic ideas and some good Republican ideas and pass them. Let's actually do something for the 90 million sportsmen and women that reside in this country and build our economy. Now is the time, Mr. President. Now is the time. We've got an opportunity here to take a bill that does good things for this country across the board, that quite frankly, if a vote was held on this bill today, I'm confident would pass with a large bipartisan majority. But as long as we're going to play political games and as long as we're going to hold stuff up, we'll never get to the point where we can do what's right by the American people. Mr. President, I urge we get to work and get her done. With that, I yield the floor. I suggest the absence of a quorum.